Hello and welcome to the first tutorial on this channel. Yeah, it's the first tutorial on this channel. Somebody asked that I make tutorials, and now it is ready. I'm making no tutorials. It's the first tutorial that I ever made. I made YouTube videos but in German. And yeah, now hop into Unreal Engine. So now we are in Unreal Engine, and we see there are selections, games, film, television, live events, architecture, and production design. But at first we're going to create a game. Also we click to games and next. Now we have here templates for first person flying, puzzle, rolling, virtual reality and everything other. But I think when you create the first game only to try something out, you click on blank and next. Here you have a few settings of the project. Here something like blueprints or C++. When anybody don't know what C++ is, it's a coding language like Python or C# for Unity and so much other. And there we have maximum quality or scalable 3 or 2D. Now we have ray tracing. For the first time when you're going to create the first project and you don't have a very good computer, disable it. You can enable it when you have a good computer, like mine. I have a good computer, but don't care. Now we have the target hardware, like desktop console or the mobile tablet. We're going to desktop and console, and the starter content. Choose with starter content because we use it for the first time. When you are good in Unreal Engine, then you don't need it anymore, but I enable it in every my projects. Okay, now we have there under the name my project, we call it Tut1. There Tut1 is now the name of our project for the first tutorial, and the location of it is this folder here. I have it here, and now we're going to create project. See you later. So now we are here in Unreal Engine in the software, and first time when you are looking at it, I think for me it was very difficult to understand it, like build, cinematics, blueprint setting, marketplace content, source control and save current, and the RDS save all. What does this all mean? The first time I think it's very hard to learn, but when you're long in Unreal Engine, like 1 day or 2 days, you get it, and then it's not hard at all. Now we start. The first thing you see when you open it is that thing here. That's the first, and there are something like the reflection capture or some meshes, two reflection captures, I don't know why, and a sound. We delete the sound for reflection captures and the meshes. That is something we don't need. And the player start. If you want to create a playable game, you let this in, but at the first we delete it. There come a tutorial, I don't know when it comes, but sometimes it comes that we can make a playable character in Unreal Engine, but for the first time we only create a landscape. There. When you see on the left corner here at the models, there are a few selections like this cube, this brush, this mountain, this foliage thing, and this cube thingy again, and their basic light, cinematic, visual effects, and everything other. There are the things you can drag in like the cube and have it in the thing, in the 3D view, in the real time 3D view. And when somebody don't know how to move in Unreal Engine, you hold the right mouse button and fly with WASD here, and with E and Q you can move up and down. Yeah, that's the most of the things, the simplest I use. And I delete the cube because we want to create a landscape. And how to create a landscape? You go on this little mountain here, and there is a manage sculpt and paint, and there new landscape. You see it there? And there's material, enable edit layer, layers, and selection size, and much other. The first thing we're going to change is the selection size, the quartz, and we're going to create a 255 by 255 quartz. That's a little bit high. Try it out how big your computer can do it, but for me it's good, and we're going to create a 2x2 selections. Now we're going to create, and this might take some time to create, and there we have the first landscape on it. So the first thing you're going to make is you go on this cube here, or shift 1, and here you can change the camera speed. I use it often, and you click on this sun, that is the direction light, and do it to movable, and that thing that is this skylight, and you click this on movable too. We don't need to build things. I don't explain what build means. It's only a much performance costing process, but for the first time I think it's simpler, because the building process take very long time. Really, trust me, it's very long time. But okay, now we are going to models and this landscape or shift 3 thing again, and now we have here 3 options: the manage, the sculpt, and the paint. There, the paint, there are layers. We don't need it at this time. The only thing that now is good is the sculpt. Here we have this sculpt tool, circle brush, and smooth fall off. Here the tool strength, the brush size, and the brush fall off. Here we can select a few things like the smooth, flatten, ramp, and other things here. But for the first time we use sculpt and go in it here and only sculpt a few things, like there's a mountain and there's a mountain. I know it's not good. And there is a little mountain, it looks terrible. And we can smooth it out that it looks kind of good. Here now I think we're going to the hydro here, that it looks kind of ugly. There we have now this thing, it don't make anything better. Here the noise, like, no, that's not good. Okay, now that is our first landscape thing here, and we see there are only this gray and dark gray boxes on it and no material, how you see it on my things. Now we are going to create there on the thing, on the content browser here you see add new. You can click on add new, or right click on this gray thing here, there right click, New Folder oder strgn, strg Shift N or Control N here, and we call it landscape. Okay, now we're going in it, and you see drop files here to click to create content, but we are going to create a new material. We're going to create it M, that's the short for material, and landscape here. Now you have this thing here. I drag it to this side here. You can see it's one of the most powerful material editor that I've ever seen. Now we have here a few pins that you can see here: the base color, the metallic, the specular, the roughness, the emassive, the normal, the world position, the ambient occlusion, the pixel, the offset. Now you have here the opacity mask, world displacement, tessellation, multiplier, but we don't need it for now. The only thing I want to create for you guys is auto material. That means we create a material. That material knows where stone and where grass to put. Okay, now let's start it to create a free vector. Constant free vector here, or you click only free and left click, or 4 and left click. I think we're going to create a 4 vector. So 4 and left click, and when you have this here, you select it and right click and convert to a parameter. That means it shows when you create a material instance. I'll explain later what is a material instance. That means it shows on it, and you can control everything on it. There we have the parameter name, the default value, the group, the sort property, the desks, and the custom primitive data. That are the things we don't need, and for now we don't need this. The only things there are now good are the parameter name and the default value. That thing, the parameter name, I call L1 for layer 1, and I think I will give it a red color here. That's 1001 here, and click OK when you work with HSV 011, but I use RGB. And here we have the layer 1. Now you right click and duplicate, or Control V, and call it layer 2. There we have now layers, and the other, I think I'm going to create a bluish one, and that is 0011, and click OK. Now we have a very bluish dark one here, and now we have 2 colors. The first is, I want to show you how to do a material at first and drop it to the landscape. Now you took the layer 1 and pin it with that thing here. Click left, click on this one, on this thing here, and drag it to the base color and click apply. Now you left click on the landscape, click on details here on the left corner, and here you see their landscape materials. There you drag and drop only here, and it compiling shaders. That means it works that the materials are working. Now you have a red landscape. That's the first thing. Now we have a red landscape. We open it again here. Here that thing. Here you see. And the next thing we're going to do is a lerp. it's the linear intern lerp here, or on the L and left click, that thing what I use are shortcuts, L and left click, and mix that things together. But now we have this pinkish color. When we apply it, we have really this, when it start to compiling shader there, we have this pinkish color, and that we don't want. We want that there here is stone and there is grass. For that thing we're going to create a auto material. It's called auto material, and we're going to right click. There we have the things and going to search something. The world aligned blend here. World aligned blend, here you have it. And for the first, this world aligned blend is that thing what I explained. It takes the landscape and look where it must be grass and where must be stone. And yeah, that is what that material do. Now we're going to do that thing that it works when we only plugged it this alpha into alpha. There we now have red. That's not what we want. There we have this version 3 normal, world vector normal, blend sharpness, blend bias, clamped, and alpha. So now we have that things, and the only two things they are good for us are the sharpness and the bias. There are two things they are good for us. So now we are going to right click on sharpness and click promote to a parameter. That's okay, you can let it there. And the same thing to bias, right click and parameter. Here now you have two scalar parameters, it's called, and the blend sharpness and blend bias. There everything is at 0 and 0. We can let it on 0 and 0. If you want, you can change it now, but in a material instance it's much simpler. Now you click on apply, go to your content browser and your view. There you see is everything red, and there that thing here is our material. You're right clicking it and create material instance. There you're going to the beginning and MI landscape. That's the short for material instance. And when you open it here, I drag it here, you see there are layer 1, layer 2, blend bias and blend sharpness. That are the things we need to change the material. Here I drag it, I think, to this side here, that we can see it here. Yeah, I think that is good. And when we change that things here, something like, I think 10 is good, and this to 0. Oh wait, we must do the material instance on it. There. Now we have that thing here. You see, the red thing is now on that thing where we want the stone. Here, you can change it whatever you want to a little bit more sharp, something like that, like 10, 100 or something. It says minus 10. Okay, I think that is something we need to change. Here only the layer 1 and layer 2 switch it between these two things. Here the layer 2 comes at first place and the layer 1 at second. Here now, when we do this at 0, okay, yeah. So now we have that thing here. It's very simple to do. There are no complicated things in it, but we don't want that blue and red. That's nothing we want. That now you're going to content. There, the thing here, there's when you're on this landscape and click on content, or on that thing here, and go to starter content and textures. Here you have the few textures, and we're going to write on it stone or a cliff. No, okay, stone. Here we have stone, but not that stones we want. They are called it brick. We're going to take this brick thing here, or wait. There is nothing other. Okay, then first we're going to ground mass here, but first we must open the material here and take this ground mass underscore D, and you see that blue thing is the stone and the red thing is the grass. Now you right click on it, convert to a parameter, and say grass underscore D here, and the red thing we said we want that is grass here. So now that thing is grass, and now we want stone, but I can't find any good stone texture. Okay, we take this rock basalt here, click it on, drag it, drop, and here convert to a parameter stone underscore D now, and drag and drop it here. Here you have now this, and ready. Now it's compiling the shaders, and now we have this wonderful stone, and stone instead of the, I think it was the blue thing, and instead of the red thing, the grass. Yay. But we see the stone texture and the grass texture are very small, not very tiled, and we're now going to tiling it. For that thing, you're going to write coordinates, texture coordinates, or only U here, U and left click. Here you have the texture coordinates, and you see here the coordinate index, U tiling, V tiling, mirror U and mirror V here. And that thing allows us to tiling the textures, to scale it up, and yeah, that is what that thing do. Here you drag that two things into the UV thing, and here nothing changed because we don't change this thing here, the value. I think we are going to say 0.1. I don't know how big it would be, how it will be, but look, yes, that's much better. Here you see now we have this wonderful texture, and when we go to the sculpt again and sculpt, here you see there is our auto material. That's everything we must do. It's very easy, and it's not very complicated, but when you see it's very shiny, it's much specular, not much roughness, and that is something we want to change. Here when you have this, you click C and call it auto material. Here you have the auto material. When you drag and drop that thing, you drag and drop you drag everything on this, and now you click 1 and left click. You have this expression constant. There's only a 0, and we drag this into specular. Now when we click apply, here you see it's much better. I think you can change it to something like 0.5 or 0.2. I think is good here, that it is a little bit shine on it here, and Control V to duplicate it, and 0.1 to the roughness. Sorry, 5 on the roughness, or 2 on the roughness, or 1 on the roughness. Is that better? Let's have a look. Yes, it's much better. Or no, I think 0.5, how it looks like that. 0.2. 0.3. Yeah, I think that is good. Now let's have a look. It's compiling the shaders, and now I think it's a little bit too shiny. We're going to take 1.5. No, we're going to 0.5. 0.5 is good, I think, that it has a little bit of shine. I think it's yes, it's a little bit of shine, but not much. But the second problem is there is no normal maps on it. When you see it's everything flattened and no depth and nothing is there, that's things we are going to create now. It's very easy. Here we change it to AutoMaterial _D. Okay, D is for diffuse, and we Control V. No, sorry, that we select everything and Control V, and we change this to Control Stone N and Grass N. Here you have now Stone N and Grass N, and for the Grass N we're going to use Ground Moss N and Rock Basalt N, and we're going to don't use the alpha here, break links, and we're going to I think we're going to that thing the last normal here, because with alpha it don't works on normal. Here to drag this to normal, and this we change to normal too. Here now we're going to apply it and see if everything works. Yes, it looks much better. You see, now it's a little bit smoother transition between the grass and the stone. I think you can change everything on the sharpness, I think, here. And now you see here are the texture parameters: the grass D, the grass normal, the stone D, and the stone normal here. But we don't use the textures here, we use that thing. And when you change the sharpness here, you can change that thing. We're going to use 20, minus 20, 24, 25. Yeah, I think that looks good, I think. And now we have a very good landscape material for the first time. It's a simple material, but good looking. Here you can see that's everything we need to do for the first time. And in the next tutorial we're going to create, we let it here, everything is on it, but we're going to create a paint landscape that we paint textures. Here you see in the layers under the paint section, under this landscape, shift 3, target layers. There are no layers. We're going to create layers that we can draw things on it. Yes. Okay, now that was for the very first tutorial on this channel. I hope it helped you to do some things, and I hope you see us in the next time. Hope you have a great day, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment and like, and we see you the next time, guys. Bye.